right, I think we're live. Welcome everyone. Thanks for tuning in again. We're getting started a little bit late today, about an hour late. But I had a meeting at work I couldn't get out of. So this is episode 3 of Composed Dogfooding. And currently we are going to be building this movie app, which we've got this example shown up here. How many times am I gonna do that without hitting mute first? How's it going, Nico? So this is the app we're building for those who haven't been tuning in prior to this. And we've made some progress. So currently we've got this kind of setup here where we've got these movie posters and some kind of real rough at the moment carousel action sort of going on. So we're going to continue working on that and see how it goes. And as always, let me know if anything's going on with audio or anything like that. Still been having a lot of trouble there. How's it going, Evian? Okay, so I think where we last kind of left off is we were working on getting the Y offset of this poster here. We wanted it to go down as the poster was off center from the screen. So I think I'll continue trying to do that. I was trying to use this lerp function here, which didn't seem like it was working. I don't remember why. Interesting. What is the error here? Required float found unit. Okay, I wonder why that would be unit here. Is there not like a, I mean, there should be. Yeah. I don't know if this is like a resolution issue or what. Okay, weird. I wonder, did I import like a wrong lerp somewhere? Not sure what's going on there. Anyway, I am just gonna use this one, I guess. Let's go ahead and run that and see what that looks like. I don't think it's gonna be quite right, but it should kind of work. Oh, it's still building. It's taking a little while. Oh, one thing to note is some people asked for me to put this code on GitHub, which seems like a good idea. So I just set up this repository, composed dogfooding which has all the code, and then after each session, I'll publish this. Put this in the chat. So tutor, the plan for today is we're gonna work on the this movie app that we've been working on, which will, you know, the goal is to have some interaction kind of like this, and you know, we're not there yet, but let's see what we've got. Okay, so this is weird. Okay, clearly not quite right there. It looks like the first one is going in the wrong direction, which we can fix that. But it doesn't look like the center is kind of working like we thought it would. Which I think, so actually I'm gonna debug this. I think I know what's going on, but I might as well just use a breakpoint. Could not connect to remote process. Try this again. Okay. Not sure what's going on there. I don't want to waste a bunch of time playing around with it on stream, so if anyone has any ideas, let me know. In the meantime, there's a few things that we can play around with here. So one is, I think that we don't actually want to be negative, but also I think that this is wrong. So center is going to be a positive number, and then offset is a negative number, I believe, when we swipe to the right. So I think actually this is, hey Eric, thanks for stopping by. Glad you could join in. So I think that might do something a little more like what we want. Let's give it a shot. Yeah, okay. So that now looks, well, it's the correct kind of behavior I was looking for. It may not be exactly what we wanted, but it's sort of good enough to get us started in the right direction. The next thing that I want to do is get the swipe behavior of the background. I want to get that sort of working. And I just asked someone today what they thought the best approach for this would be. I think that the clip modifier is what we're going to go with. So at the moment, we're just doing this logic here, which isn't really what we want. But this is like, this determines This just makes an image visible or not visible. And actually what we're gonna do instead, like, so for each one, for each image, or for each index, I guess, what do we want to do? We want to when we're swiping in a given direction, we want sort of at any given point, we're going to have two images that we're swiping back and forth between. So like we have this index fraction here. And basically if so if the index fraction is between u and u plus 1, basically is what I want to deal with. So let's say let's try that. So if index fraction, if index is less than or equal to index fraction, and index plus 1 is less than or equal to index fraction, greater than or equal to, yeah, okay. So at any given point in time, we'll be rendering 2 or 3 images. If the index and the index fraction, if index fraction is a whole number, then we'll end up rendering 3 images, which is fine because we want to kind of be able to go both ways. So let's give that a shot. Actually, what we might do, so we might just set opacity to that. So if it's between them, then it's visible, else it's not. So try that. And then we're basically going to render the image every time, but it may not be visible. So that's going to draw the opacity. And let me see what this is doing. This is doing draw layer. Okay. I'm actually going to use draw layer here. And we're going to do alpha will equal opacity. And then we're going to create a shape, which is what this draw layer will clip based on. So we're going to do kind of the same thing here. So like shape. Actually, does it use rect shape by default? Let's find out. Yeah, okay. It's fine. Isn't that an impossible condition? Did I mess it up? So index, oh yeah, I guess I want the index fraction to be between, no, I think this is all right. Am I wrong? I don't know. I don't like doing these things. Someone double check my work here, but I think it's right. So I'm gonna do a similar thing here. Equals equals when so I kind of want the inverse of this condition. So when we're outside of this, so it's greater than index fraction or index plus 1 is greater than this is the part that's hurting my head. So I just want to do this. Is that right? Yeah. So basically if it's out of the bounds of like left and right, then in this case we're just going to return rectangle shape, which is the default. And otherwise, we're going to create our own rectangle shape. Interesting. Okay, so we kind of want like a fractional rectangle shape, but I'm just going to do an object implementation here. So what we want to do is we want to create a shape whose outline is some fraction of the size passed in. And maybe I'll just create a function for that real quick. Fractional rectangle shape. Fraction float. So this is gonna do, we need to create a rect. Whoops. Hey Sean, how's it going? So we can create a rect. I think top left and bottom right are probably the easiest ways. So actually I think we're gonna have to create two different, if we're swiped halfway across the screen, we're gonna have to create one rect for one image, which is the left half of the size that's passed in, and then another rect for the right half. So we kind of need two fractions. We need a start fraction and end fraction. And then we need to say rect top left equals I guess it's gonna be easier probably to just do the like whole top left bottom right thing. So here top is always going to be 0, left is going to be start fraction times size or size dot width. All right. And then bottom is going to be 0. And then right is going to be start fraction or end fraction times size dot width. Okay. Let's see how this works. If the index, basically, we should be passing, if index equals index fraction, we should be passing in 0 and 1 here. So that means that this would be index minus index fraction. And then this would be index plus 1 minus index fraction. What do you think? What are the chances that this works? Oh, you all can't really see very well, can you? Sorry about that. So I think this will kind of work. Let's give it a shot. Hi, John. All right, let's see. So, moment of truth. That is not working at all. Why not? Oh, I need to pass in clip. Okay. Still not working. Does that mean that this condition is never getting... If index fraction is less than index, it should be less than index plus 1. Yeah, I'm having trouble with Boolean logic today, aren't I? Okay, so if index fraction is 0.5, let's say, then let's say it's 1.5. So then we want to make sure that the index 1 and 2 satisfy the condition and nothing else. And so if index is less than, but that's a different condition. So in this case, we want, if it's less than index fraction minus 1, or if index fraction plus 1 is greater than index. Does that look right to any of you? Let me know. All right, and then here, We want to say if index so if index is less than or equal to index fraction, yeah, that's not what we want. We want the inverse of this. So let's just write that. Greater than equal and less than equal. I feel like I'm in a technical interview right now and I'm bombing. All right, what do we think? Is this gonna work? No. So if it's greater than index fraction minus 1, that looks right. And index fraction plus 1. So this looks wrong. Index fraction plus 1 should be greater than okay, that looks right, which means that this is probably wrong. So index fraction, if it's outside, that means index fraction plus 1 are you able to position your emulator window over the chat? Sorry, let me fix that. I can't move the position of it, at least not very easily, but I'll try and be better about removing it when I'm coding. Let me know, there's a WOMP chat command. If some of you can't see, then you can let me know through the sound if I'm not realizing it soon enough. Okay, so that looks right, or index fraction plus 1 greater than index, that looks right too. Does that mean this one's wrong? This one, yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, I'm still on alpha 2. I just haven't bothered upgrading. So this condition is clearly inverted somehow. Right, yeah. So we want it to be visible. It's greater than index fraction minus 1, yes, and index fraction plus 1. Okay, so this should be greater then. And then it's funny, why don't I just take this condition? Because this is actually that. You think it should be index fraction? Okay. So that's basically what I've written here, right? So this is kind of doing the right thing, but the entire image is getting rendered. So basically, we're not seeing this like wipe happen. I think. Let me look into what this does. So. Draw layer modifier clip. I wonder what does this do? Yeah, this is just clip equals true. Okay. So I'm wondering, this might be coil image. Let me see what this does. New logic makes sense. Yeah, okay. Did someone play the sound? Because I didn't seem to get it. I wonder why. Okay, so the sound worked for you, but I'm wondering if it didn't work for me for some reason. Oh, I think now maybe the sound will work for me. Not sure. Okay. I'm surprised that the wipe effect isn't working. Oh, but this is using... I wonder if this is the problem. Like if it's drawing... If it's drawing the image in a different way without that modifier passed in. Let me try this just real quick. I'm gonna color. I want to try this just with like a solid color background and see if that works, because then I'll know that maybe it's the coil image that's the problem. So color.red for good boys will be fine. And then Joker, I'll use blue. And like yellow. Let's see what happens. So it would be kind of interesting. So if we, instead of the whole image, let's just do that, and then we'll say background movie.color. I'm gonna see if that works. So the clip modifier, it just does this. And since I'm also passing in opacity, I'm figuring that I'll just do one draw layer modifier instead. So it is the same behavior. I wonder if this shape isn't really behaving correctly. Oh, you know what? Do we need to do density here? No, because it was just passing in size before. Well, actually, that might have been... Yeah, okay. Offset 0. Modifiers align is kind of confusing with the new naming. Interesting. Sean, why do you think so? I actually thought that the new naming was made a lot of sense. And Sir Derper says, what do we want to achieve, chat? So just for some context on what we're building, we're trying to build a UI that looks a little bit like this. And so this like wipe effect is kind of what we're working on at the moment. That is probably right. Top and bottom. Is wrong here. Okay, yeah, I think that's probably it. Thank you for that. So this is probably going to be height. Size.height. Let's try that. Oh. Yeah, thanks for playing the sound. I didn't hear it on my headphones though. I don't know why it's not piping through to me, unfortunately. Okay, so this kind of works. This is kind of cool, but we actually, do we want it to be the opposite? Oh, sorry. So you can see this is what we have now, which is kind of cool, but isn't isn't quite what we wanted, right? What did we want here? Yeah, so we go the opposite direction in the app. So we'll try that instead. That should be relatively easy to fix though. Right, we can just say, I'm not sure if we should start it, if we should do it here or, there's a question there. There's like 2 overloads for a line with alignment horizontal, vertical, right? So assuming I simply want to center something, I cannot call it with a line alignment.center because it's of type alignment. Yeah, so it has to do with that has to do with like whether or not you're in a row scope or a column scope. And so if you're in a column scope, then you align horizontally, and then if you're in a row scope, then you align vertically, and then if you're in a stack, you can align both. That's why it works like that. Okay, so so let's see, when when our index fraction, let's like think about this. So if our index fraction is 0.25, then what we want to pass in here, we want it to be 0.25 from the other end. So I see what we did wrong. So we kind of want, so if our index, let's say we're swiping to the left, then our index is 0 and our index fraction is 0.25. Then what we want to pass in here is 0 and 0.75. And then is that right? No, it comes from the other direction. So when we're swiping, okay, so in this case, then we'd want to pass in 0.25 and 1. And then for index 1, we'd want to pass in 0 and 0.25. More index logic. Yep. Y'all have eroded my confidence. I don't think I can do index-wise logic anymore. Let's go ahead and add the image back, because that wasn't the problem. We do that, and then we remove the background. Okay, so and I think this will kind of index plus index fraction, that would get us that, and then index plus 1. This doesn't really work or matter then. So let's say if so index is less than index fraction. Let me just do 1. Then we don't need the index fraction here, or the index. So then otherwise, in this case, we will pass in 0 and what, and the index fraction. Okay, that's not too bad. Let's see if this worked. Okay. Almost. What's happening here? So when we get, definitely messing up some of this here. Is there anything I can read to learn more about Jetpack Compose layout system other than sources? I'm especially interested in how lazy works. Well, for the layout system, there's a layout like code lab or something in the compose pathway, which has a lot of good stuff in it. For learning more about how lazy works, there's probably not any good resources out there for that other than just reading the source code. But like, yeah, reading the source code might be pretty helpful. A lot of it's going to be changing soon though. Like it's definitely under current development. Instead of 0, should it be index? I didn't think so, because this is like, these are just fractions, so these should be between 0 and 1. Because we use them to multiply based on the width here. Oh no, but this is an absolute. So right. Oh no, well that should still be correct. Oh. Shoot. Yeah, I think it's right. Before it was all relative to index. Yeah, but I think it was just getting, I think the shape was just getting to be very large, and then it worked anyway. Right, so top left, bottom. So in this case, left is going to be like 0 and 0.25, or 0.25 and 1, right? Which that's what we did. Yeah. So I don't know, that kind of seems right to me. Is index fraction normalized? Oh, that's probably what it is. No. Index is based on that. Oh, that's, I see. So it should be, what should it be? It should be index fraction minus index. That's what we did wrong, I think. Because index fraction isn't a fraction. It's an index that is that can have fractional indexes, but it's not bound between 0 and 1. So I think that'll work. Sorry, the code is hidden, but I think I just needed to subtract index from this in both cases. This I don't think worked. So in this case, index is greater than index fraction. So index minus index fraction, I think is what I want. Line numbers in frames, so we can point out the line number. Oh. Yeah, thanks for pointing that out. It looks like that got messed up. Let me Thanks for pointing that out. And you're back. Yeah, sorry. I was just adjusting the cropping of the Android Studio window. Sorry. Okay, so ooh, some weird stuff happening. All right. You look at this is not quite right. But you can tell we're on the right track, right? Almost. All right. Visual debugging, yeah. So I don't know what's going on with the when I try to debug the app, it won't. I haven't actually tried debugging with this like streaming setup yet, so I'm not sure what I have configured incorrectly, but I don't want to mess with it right now. So we're gonna do some visual debugging for this. Okay, so we can see. Let's see. So at the point that we're at, index fraction should be 0. It looks like nothing is being shown. Which I think that kind of makes sense here. So like, yeah. All right, so I think I actually needed to so if index so if it's equal to the index fraction, then we want to pass in 0 here. So index minus index fraction is what we want, which we weren't doing that before. And if so, then when it's the next one, why don't we bound index fraction between 0 and 1? Because, you know, I'm not a very good engineer, and that would only make sense. And I want to make my life hard. So yeah, that's why. Let's see, where should I put that? So if fractional, oh, for the else bit, yeah, I think that's right. +1, right? Because we want to end up on 1. So +1, I think. Oh, sorry. Y'all can't see it again. I should probably just turn it into a fraction though. Let's see if this worked. Showing the wrong poster, so I fear it did not. Gosh. This whole thing, I don't know about y'all, but it feels like I'm bombing an interview right now. That's what it feels like. So okay, so we have if it's not in range, and then if it is in range, we are not sleeping tonight. So let's create like a fraction here. And then we'll say an index is 0 and index fraction is 0, we want full width. Yeah. You're right. Right. So yeah, it'll be 0 to 1. Which that'll give us this in that case, right? And so then if it's 0.25, we fall into this case. And index is 1. But then otherwise, we fall into this case. And the next one, we want be index. Oh, so that's going to be -1. Yeah. And index plus 1 is less than or equal to index fraction. Gosh, without debugger here, this is just terrible. So I'm going to say, okay, so if so it's in range and the index is less than the index fraction, which means that our fraction is going to be index fraction minus index. And we should just be able to do that, which that changed, so that's probably a good sign. And then in this case, our fraction here, so index is greater than index fraction. So index minus index fraction. I wonder if we want to do index minus, oh no. So in this case, like, so let's say it's 1 and 0.25, right? The fraction that we're looking for is still 0.25. So we want index -1, basically, -1. Index fraction minus index -1. I think that's what we want. And then this would go to here. Does that make sense? I'm not sure how much changed here, but let's see what that does. Doesn't make sense for index equals 0. Doesn't it? So you're saying that this, for the else statement, index is 0. Well, in this case, I don't know if we would end up in the else statement for index is 0, would we? Because there's nothing to the left, so we don't have like a left image to wipe in. So we might have to figure that out anyway, but I don't know. Let's see what this ended up as. So this didn't really work. We're not getting the wipe effect, which indicates that we're kind of off by one somewhere. Let's so as soon as we go past 0, we end up bringing in the whole next image. So that condition is clearly wrong, which is our 0.25 case. So that's concerning. Or 0.25. I wonder if our... No, because that's still working correctly. So yeah, so it's wiping over there, like, because so now there's no image to the right of this, which means we actually see the wiping because there's nothing that's rendering on top of it. So we're actually doing that correctly, it seems like. But so our shape for the next, and I can even see, yeah. So we're wiping the first one correctly, but so the else case is wrong. So in the else case, our index is 1. Our index fraction oh, I think I want +1 here, I guess, which is I think what someone was saying, but I tried to explain to them why they were wrong when they were probably right. Give that a shot. Okay, so that's working now, sort of, right? Is this is this actually how the app worked? So let me see. Yeah, so as Joker swipes away. Yeah, okay. So we're working correctly now, basically. So that whole thing is now working. So let's try to do a few tweaks here, because one of the things is like in the mock, this poster, like if it's sitting in the middle of the screen, you can still see part of the edges of the other ones, and so we want to get that effect, and we're not right now. So let's see. Let's come up with a poster size. Poster spacing. Need a trumpet noise. inverse of what we want now. It's wiping the one underneath. Oh, okay. I see. Oh, you're saying to celebrate. Yeah. Yeah, maybe I should. Let me know what kind of sounds you all think would be good. I'll try and add some to that extension. We can have a celebratory one, and I'll try and make it so that I can actually hear them, because I think right now I can't hear them. But so right now our poster spacing is the screen width, and I'm gonna do it in screen width. Let's just say, or actually, what did we do? So let's see. Poster has a width of screen width times 0.75. So is the mock available on Dribble somewhere? Yeah, let me I'll post it. I just posted a link to the Dribble page. Okay. So there's poster spacing. Let's say and then poster width. Equals screen width dp point. This is really not a good way to space these things. I'm being admittedly quite a bit lazy here in how I'm doing this, but we can clean that up at some point. I kind of want to get something that looks good, and then we'll like talk about, I don't know, what sort of things we're doing that are hacky, and we can clean them up a bit. So okay, so let's go ahead and give this our poster width, and then our center is now going to be based on our poster spacing. And we probably need, we don't need that here. But we need it here. So that. Let's give that a shot, see what that looks like. So it's still, there's still an entire one that fits on one screen, so that's not right. We did poster width. Where are we using this? I think I'm probably using a fill max width somewhere then, that's the problem. Is that right? Let's see. Max width, no. So we're filling the full size here, and then got a spacer, which is fine. And I'm using the poster spacing to bottom center. I don't know why this is taking up the whole screen then. Anyone have an idea why the spacing between these posters is exactly one screen when it shouldn't be? At least I didn't think it would be. So would all these variables get recreated every time we scroll? At the moment, yes. But I'm gonna tweak it to where it won't. But yeah, at the moment it would. Is in range. No, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, really, it's this offset here. So I don't understand. Poster spacing. Because of the white border. No, I don't think so. I mean, I'm assigning the width of the overall poster, including the white border. Like if we could make this something like pretty small, and it would like let me try that. So instead of making this a function of the width, let me just let me undo that. Like this was 100.dp and let's just, I mean, 200 pixels. Or I mean, we can even say just like, let's just put them right next to each other, right? So this should squash them all together. But it doesn't seem to be. Does Prettier for Kotlin exist? I'm actually not sure. I mean, so there's Kotlin format, but okay, well, so now actually they're all right. Getting put on the same page now. I mean, maybe I was just doing some weird weird things there. So let's try this. The poster width DP, let's say that that is the screen width times, yeah, 0.6, right? Which is what we had before. And then let's do that to get it into pixels. Maybe that'll work. I don't know. So prettier for Kotlin. I mean, so there's a Kotlin format built into IntelliJ, but it's certainly not as advanced as prettier. So let me see, because I mean maybe someone made a Kotlin plugin for prettier. But that said, I mean, like how good a plugin for prettier is has a lot to do with it just has a lot to do with like how much attention to detail to the plugin itself was made. So this may not be it may not be like super tuned in, but it looks like someone did at least make one. So you could check that out. That'd be kind of cool. I desperately miss prettier. It's a godsend in JavaScript. Okay, so we've got this going on here. Let's which, you know, this looks good. We don't have the spacing here, so let's just go ahead and do that. Like for instance, let's see what that ends up as. I'm not doing Kotlin, but I'm still in JavaScript land. I just saw some manual formatting and was shocked. Yeah. I mean, it is like one of those things. It's like you don't appreciate how nice it is until you have it, or until you don't have it, rather. Okay. So I mean, this is kind of cool. Like obviously there's like a lot of values that we'd want to tweak more, but at this point it would just be tweaking constants. So the next thing that I think we want to do is to make it so that this carousel snaps to an index. Also, is there like points where there shouldn't be? It should be fluid. So yeah, so let's try and do that next. This is pretty cool. I'm happy with where we are now. You know, modulo tweaking some constants. IntelliJ Android Studio should have formatting Alt Command L. Yeah, they do. There's a format. You can go to what is it? Code format or something. Anyway, yeah. Reformat file, reformat code. So Command L versus Shift Alt Command L. Good Boy's poster isn't the same aspect ratio as the screen others, so it's black bars on either side. Yeah, so what I'd like to do at some point is I'm gonna go in with like an image editor and like tweak these posters so that they're basically like the ones in the Dribble mock. They're like a little bit cleaner. So I'll do that as well, and I'll make them the same aspect ratio, just because it's, I mean, if you were doing this for real, you'd probably have an API that would, you know, return them all in the right aspect ratio. So let's try and get this snapping to work. So the way that this works is I want to pass in a fling config to here, which, like, it's actually a little bit disappointing. I guess they use default fling config. I wonder if we should add that as a parameter here. I'm gonna write that down as some feedback to give. So 1 second while I do that. So I would actually, I thought about this. I would actually, I would kind of go through the bug filing process and like actually, because part of the goal here is to provide actionable feedback to make the API, like make the Compose APIs better. And so I want to do that by creating, like, filing bugs on people and actually causing some of these things to change. But I don't want to do that on live stream because there's, I guess it's too risky in that there might be, if I file bugs as me, there might be things visible that some people would have a problem with if I filed them. So I'm not going to do that, but I want you all to know that I'm writing some of the things that we figure out as we do this, like, that are problematic. I'm writing them down, and I'm going to go and talk to people to see if we can get them changed. Is there going to be a GitHub repo with this stuff? Yes. So right now I linked it up in the chat. Compose Dogfooding, I just created this. If you want to go and check that out. And did I just create this? I just joined. So I didn't just create this. We've been working on this the past couple of streams. So this is the result of a number of hours of work, a lot of which has been me answering questions. But anyway, it didn't just come out of thin air or anything. But so what we want is we want to be able to pass in a fling config here. So I'm going to go back here, and we're just gonna pretend like we have our own with fling config. Realistically, this should be something like this. God, my keyboard is messing up again. I might have to move over to the wired keyboard because it seems to consistently freak out these days. So we're gonna try that, and Fox fling config. Yeah. So now what we want to do is we want to make our own fling config that's going to have a custom adjust target implementation. So let's do that, and here we can say, actually, I wonder if we target. Okay, so let's make a fling config. Gosh, close default fling config. Now, what does this do? I'm not gonna. I need to find the actual version of this, but since I'm not in the project and my navigation keys are messed up. Anyway, I'm not sure if this will remember it or anything like that, but we're gonna make our own here. And so this is an adjust target lambda, which will return a target animation based on the float that's returned. So if, let's see, we kind of want some of these things up here. Index action. So really what we want to do is if let's say we get like the float that comes in, this is going to be like an end position in pixels if we did nothing. And so what we want to do is we just want to return it, or we want to send it to like the nearest integer multiple of the poster spacing. And so let's just say it divided by poster spacing dot round to int times poster spacing. Probably an easier way to do that, but I think that's kind of what we want. And then that needs to be a target animation. So the target animation receives the target, which is that. And then a spring, an animation spec. And so we'll keep the spring spec. I think that's fine. I think. So let's find out what happens when we use that. So then in here we give it a fling config. And then the other thing that we want to do I think we might want to stop consuming scroll if we pass the bounds of, yeah, I think that's right. So what do we do there? So if let's say we've got an upper bound and a lower bound. Well, upper bound gosh. And then that's going to equal movies times size times poster spacing px, and then our lower bound is just going to be 0. So let's see. And then we want to say when offset plus it is it's in the lower bound, upper bound, Then offset it. Gosh, my keyboard is killing me right now. Otherwise, let's see. So we want to return, we're returning how many pixels we consumed. And so when we do this, we'll return the full thing. Otherwise, let's see. What do we want here? Now target equals this. Target. So if target is greater, oh, well, we're actually, target's the subject here. So, so if target is greater than upper bound, we're going to return, let's see. Well, okay, so first of all, we want offset to equal the upper bound. Offset set to target. So we don't want to return 0, but hold on. Required unit or found float. What? How easy is it to loop endlessly? You mean in the carousel? We could probably do that as an alternative design. It wouldn't be that difficult here. It would just require some logic that would do like the modulo thing. Why is this float? Oh, I see. I have this return function in here, which I didn't want. These videos will be on YouTube. Live is mostly ungodly hours for me. Yeah, Suhas, the recordings are on. They'll be put on YouTube, so you'll be able to get them later. Yeah. Okay. So I can't do this. I don't know if there's what the right way to do that is in Kotlin, but it's fine. So if target's greater than upper bound, then we want to set the offset to the upper bound, and then the what we're going to consume is let's see. So we can say it minus target minus offset. I am getting so frustrated right now. My keyboard is like missing every other character, and it's making me very upset. All right, can't think. So how many? So what did we consume here? We consumed the target minus the upper bound. No, so the offset upper bound minus the offset is going to be what we consumed. And we return what we consumed. Yes, okay, so return that. Does my keyboard issue also happen off stream? It does, but it does seem to happen less often. So I'm not really sure what's going on. It's really weird. So I actually just got a new docking station, and it's been happening since I got that. So I think it's related to that, but I'm not really sure what the deal is. So, because I've had this keyboard for a long time, and I never had other issues, never had this type of issue with the previous docking station that I had, but for some reason now it's just terrible. And then what I'm gonna do, lower bound. I want to have this be the else, because I don't like this like little fancy range thing. So if target's less than lower bound, then what do we do? Lower bound. Is this gonna work? I think we probably, because the offset ends up being negative for positive, so I think I actually want to do this. I think that'll be fine. Yeah, the new, I mean, it's no doubt the new docking station, but I don't know. It seems like they're like, I guess the docking station is clearly what's causing the problem, but I want to understand the problem in that, like, is the Bluetooth signal bad, or like is something weird with the driver now that like it's going to, like, I don't know what the deal is. So if it's fully plugged in, yeah, I've tried moving it around to like a different USB port and everything, but it's like, I mean, it's, you know, it's Thunderbolt 3 and there's quite a bit of headroom there, so I'm not really sure. I don't know. I'll keep messing with it, but So lower bound minus offset. I think this might work. So it's so yeah, it is Thunderbolt 3. It's like the CalDigit TS3 plus or whatever it is. I don't know. All right, let's try running this and see what it does. A little bit nervous, not really sure what it will do. So, okay. All right, so it's kind of working actually, but so the image is wrong. It's kind of weird. Like the image order is like going away. So I think we have a boundary condition issue with the image. It's placing the next one. I wonder if because it's a spring, so it probably goes like just past. Well, no. So it's when it ends up on the boundary condition that we run into trouble. So what happens when we start the app? Does it have the wrong poster? I haven't been paying attention. Yeah, okay. So we have a boundary condition issue. Here we so I wonder smooth it a little bit, it's a bit rough. Yeah, I think there's some more oh, it keeps going. Interesting. Oh, because I did dot size. I'll tweak some of the animation parameters at one point, but I want to fix this boundary condition issue first. It seems like when we're at 0, so an index fraction is an integer multiple. So like when we start off the app, index fraction is 0. And let's walk through what that means. So 0 is greater than -1, and 1 is greater than or equal to 0. So it's in range. So we'll give it opacity. And then we'll fall into this example, which is probably our problem. So so this is actually correct, but then index 1 is the problem. So so 1's going to be greater than or equal to -1, and 2's greater than, or no, 1 is greater than or equal to index. It's in range. So do we want it to not be in range? We could change this. And then what are we gonna have here? We're gonna have -1 +1 0 0. Seems like 0 0. This may create like a weird issue. I'm not sure. So I wonder if we change that. What'll happen? Yeah, when index zero and 1 match. But that, I mean, that's still kind of what we want. I think. Is this smooth? Yeah, I mean, we still get this like that weird. Ugh. Yeah. I wonder if I give it like a 0-0 shape, if it does something weird. Yeah, it did. It started on the right image, because in this case, only one thing matched the is in range. But it's still, there's some pretty janky stuff going on here. It like, I think maybe this. Let's see. When it's basically, let's say that it does like 2 do match. I wonder if it's like less than epsilon or something. It like starts to maybe ski it as something different. Let's do. Action load dot min value. I think this is epsilon, not infinity, right? Yeah. Okay. Not negative infinity. So I'm not confident that that's going to do anything, but how's it going, Dev Souza? Good to see you. All right, so it started on the right one. Okay, well, yeah, it's still doing this weird thing. Ugh. I don't know what's going on there. It's weird. It won't trigger it unless it's like exactly a value. So there it went. Yeah. So I think, I wonder what happens if I just never. I think it's this is in range thing that's getting us into trouble. I think it's setting some of the opacity to 0. Do we even need this? Like, what would happen if this was just always 1? Would that break a lot of our other logic? Because there's going to be, or would the actual. This is what I want to find out. So if index is less than the so I just want to say, like, let's say coerce in 0 to 1, and then because I don't think that min value thing changed anything. So if we do this, I mean, this is probably less efficient, but I want to see if this fixes it just so that we can verify the problem. So yeah, let's run that. Okay, so we're back to the wrong poster. Yeah, which is kind of what I expected. All right. So we can't, at least with the current logic, we can't do that. Yeah, it seems like if the shape, oh, I bet I know what it is. Because so the rectangle, the rect implementation has like an is empty check. And if it is, I bet it goes down some other path. That's probably it. Okay, so we can do this with a z index modifier, I think. I really don't like it though. We need to figure this out. Need to do the same for the other clause, so it's not 1-1. I see what you're saying. So you think the min value thing actually made a difference? Maybe. Can try that. So basically, coercent might be the better way to do this, but so 1 minus float min and fraction dot coerce in and then so float min to 1. We can see if this fixes it. It might. Yeah. Not looking good because it's the wrong poster. So, oh, well, I stopped doing this, so we'll try that. Oh, no, still there. Gosh, all right, that's frustrating. So it only happens in one direction. When I'm going in the left direction, I'm guessing because it just it might be because the spring just goes past, and so then we get to a point. Where's the dog at? I don't know. Let's see. Enzo! I'm not sure where he is. I could go get him. I don't know. We'll see. Should we vote? Do we want to see the dog more than we want to see me program? That's probably gonna overwhelmingly be yes. Hit the doggy. All right, let me go try and find him. I'm sure he's probably just sleeping right now. 1 second. Be right back. All right. Dog has been requested. Let's see. We gotta see if we can get a good angle of him. Hold on, my keyboard shortcut isn't working right now. Not sure if I'm gonna be able to get. All right, my wide angle's not working, but let's see if we can get a good shot of him. Enzo, catch. Boy. Good boy. Enzo, leave it. Leave it. Oh man. That didn't work out very well. Alright, Enzo, you want to do a trick for them? Enzo! Enzo! Too many treats. Alright. That did not work. He just got a bunch of free food courtesy of Twitch. Doesn't listen when he sees the food. Yeah. A little too much for him. Thank you. Yeah, he was a good looking dog. Enzo. I wanted to show you guys some of his tricks, but Enzo, spin. He's so distracted. He does not even care. Oh, now he wants more treats. Now he wants more treats. All right. Next time I'll have maybe the other camera set up. I was thinking maybe I'd put up like a dedicated dog cam. Well, I've got a dog bed down here to the right. Maybe you could just watch him while we code. A GoPro harness. Ooh, that would be advanced. That would be really advanced. All right. Well, we just hit the 2-hour mark. So I think with the dog knocking the cup of food out of my hands, that might be a good place to end it. So, I mean, recap, we have it looking kind of good, but there's some janky stuff going on. And then, you know, just a lot of stuff to tweak. But I think next time, we can start working on some of the... I mean, instead of tweaking it and stuff, I think it'd be pretty interesting to start exploring this like navigational transition, which, to be quite honest, is going to be kind of difficult. So I don't know, we'll try and play around with how we might do that, but that would be pretty cool to get that working like this. So I don't know, maybe we'll do that instead of like tweaking it to be perfect. I'm not sure. But I think that will conclude today's session. Are these sessions spontaneous or planned? They're pretty planned, I guess. Like, well, I mean, the code that I write is spontaneous, but the sessions themselves, I try to keep on a schedule. So if you go to my Twitch channel, I have a schedule put up there. And I try to be good about actually streaming during those times. So anyway, let's see. Next stream will be Wednesday, and we'll be doing some more of the Compose compiler work. So we won't be working on this app again until Sunday. If that's precisely what you want to tune in for. But if you want to come in for some of the compiler work, then come by on Wednesday, and I'll see you then. But thanks everyone, appreciate all of you, and let me know if there's anything you think I can do better. Cheers. Are we gonna have a stream with Gabe Peel this week? No. So that was kind of like a one-off thing. We may have him. I may have him on again, but it won't be like every week, anything like that. So hope that answers that. All right. Cheers.